Today we do a comparison between the OG Blade and the Blade OG. What's going on, Throne Army? Today I'm going to compare the OG Blade versus the Blade OG. If you're unfamiliar with the Warrior Blade, it came out in spring 2001, actually had one at that time, and it was Warrior's top-end offensive head. It soon became the holy grail of face-off heads because of its unique flared face shape, reinforced throat, and the plastic that was used. Warrior is now re-offering this head in what they say is the original state of the head now in 2015, and I'm excited to show you kind of the old versus the new. First up, we have a Generation 1 OG Blade from 2001. Chris actually got me this head a few years ago, and it's an absolute beauty. Still has the original no-name ball stop on it. This one's definitely broken in and is really nice. It has almost a bit too much of a pinch on it for face-off guys. They definitely like the heads to be a little bit broken in, to be a little bit more soft, but they usually deflare them a little bit because if they don't, the ball will get pinched a bit too much when you put it in through the back. Some throne leather in it in yellow, and it just kind of chills in my office because it is a first generation blade. Next up is a Gen 2 Warrior Blade. This came out a few months after first gen and added the patent numbers to the side and on the back of the throat, and also has a slightly longer throat. This one is actually the most sought after of all the original ones, not the 2015 release. And the reason for that was with a little bit longer throat, you're actually able to grab it a lot more. This is now illegal for a lot of field lacrosse, but it gave you more control over the head because you had a better grip and a better focal point to really put the ball where you wanted to. You can see my Gen 1 has pinched a lot from use, but this is the original face shape of the blade. And finally, we have the 2015 Warrior Blade OG. This is what we've been waiting for from Warrior for over a decade. Doesn't have any of the shortcomings of the 2.0, the face-off, or the Pro. We strung it up with our newest LE, 15 mil LE crystal, and I'll have a link in the description to a tutorial that shows you exactly how to string this up. Now getting into the differences between the two styles, this is a Gen 2 OG Blade, and this is, I guess, a Gen 1 Blade OG. First up, which this one doesn't have, is the ball stop. So we're gonna go back to the Gen 1. This one did come with a Warrior printed one. This one is blank. This one has a new style. I like that they cleaned up the head a little bit. Literally makes no difference of the performance of the head. Getting into the second one, which is kind of another good improvement, is the sidewall holes. On the original, they were small, kind of sharp. Sidewalls would get cut a little bit because they weren't as rounded. And in the new one, they cleaned up the sidewalls. A little bit bigger holes, a little bit different spacing, but not really different. Your pattern's going to change. And then down at the bottom, instead of having kind of the late stacked one and then the 3, they just went with 3 just at the bottom. And the last difference is probably the biggest between the two, and that is the throat. On the 2015, it is more reinforced. There's actually a smaller window, so there's more material than it is on the original one. And we found that when we put our knee down and actually were pinch and popping and clamping the ball, there was less flex in the throat of this one, which is a big kind of concern in terms of face-off guys. I think they'll get used to it. I don't think it's that big of an issue, but it was one that my guy, my face-off dude, Rojo, definitely noticed that there was a difference. And it wasn't just the flex of the head, it was where he had his hand on the throat and was really trying to get that leverage to come up and pop that ball out, where he felt the new one had a lot more resistance. In conclusion, this is an awesome offering from Warrior. Very excited to see it make it on the shelves. The biggest thing with this is going to be the price point for you. I see it as a no-brainer. If you're a face-off guy, you can't go wrong. If you're a stringer and you want a part of history, or if you're like me and your mom gave yours away that you had back in 2001, you just want one. They're going to be around $150 to $180 I've seen them advertised as, which is a lot for a lacrosse head. It's a part of history. It's limited. It's rumored they're only making 5,000 of them, and the improvements are worth it. I mean, the funniest thing about this is that I actually heard through rumors that this mold broke when they were moving, and so that's why it's taken so long, but they now see the demand and decided to fulfill it, and they're out there, they're going to go quick, and they're still going to be sought after.